there are 1,000 men there, and probably you are the only woman there, or there are 2 or 3 women there, and you have to stand up and state your case. So I find myself in there. Now I found myself in the air conditioning business, and it's a man industry once again. So I always find myself in that situation, and I ask myself, is it because I was born in a family of boys? That's why I'm always finding myself in that space of men. But here I am. I'm sitting here with you, and let's talk.
And we know you as a giant. You're such a giant in this country, and you've been a giant for many decades. One can only imagine the battles that you've had to fight over the many years that you've been in football.
You don't want to, women saying, what is she doing in a man's world? Men saying, this woman, what is she trying to do? In football, no, she will never survive. And I survived those battles. I was nearly killed in Toyando watching a soccer team. I nearly lost my life, there. So the journey, it's not an easy one. It's you spend your money, you don't get any money. You pay for your players' food, you pay for their traveling, you pay for their accommodation, you pay their salary too. So it's a very difficult industry. It's lucrative when you look at it from outside, but when you are there, it's very tough. You every time you want to win. If you lose, you don't sleep for that week. You want to win again and you lose again. So you can imagine, even the sicknesses and all that, you are subjected to that kind of environment where it's not easy. You spend your family money. I was working for government. I was a teacher before. I work for Standard Bank. I work as a public relation officer in the office of the former Chief Minister of Leboa. And then I went to the new government, 1994, Ramatlodi. I was in the communication department there. But you work there, but then you have a team that you have to support on a daily basis. It's not easy to get sponsors, although I have been fortunate because I never went to a sponsor and asked for money. I always went to a sponsor and said, I need soccer boots, I need bags, I need transport for my boys, I need incentive for my boys. That's what I did, and I almost had everything. When clubs in the lower division were running teams from the boot of their cars, I had an office in town because I went to a law firm and said, can't you offer me an office? And they said, oh, with pleasure. Then I had an office. I had a board, So that's how the team was run. That's how the team survived from that grassroots level until we got into the Premier League.
Before we continue with the story, you touched on an interesting story, Mara Wafeta Hanyane. Mara, I would like to take you back there, and I'd like for you to share with us the experience, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because I like it sometimes, elderly people, when they share memories of some of the things that have happened in their lives. You're saying there was a time where you almost lost your life. What had happened? Take us through that story.
Yeah, the team, Rea Stars, was position 3. And position 1 and 2 were playing. And I went to watch that game. I went with my late husband, with the coach, may his soul rest in peace, Basil Gwangwa. He just passed. We buried him just a few months ago. And another boy who was playing for the team, we went to watch the game. And when we were there, this is the reverse issues, and the game went on, and 10 minutes after 90 minutes, the game still carried on, and that team, the home team, was actually winning. And the visiting team scored after that extra time that and we all looking at the watch and say, but why is this game not ending, And the other team scored, and after that the game ended. And the supporters just felt, or I came there to influence the game because I'm position 3 and all that. It was like something that you see in the movie. When we're sitting in the car, my husband was outside. I was sitting with Basil Gwangwa and Chipa in the car, and that car was ransacked and I had to call. Fortunate enough, I had my bag and my phone. I called Junior Ramuse. I'm sure you know him. He also passed on. He was the public relation officer of Rea Stars, but he was also working for government. And I asked him, can you just call the commissioner of police and ask them to send the police to the station, to the stadium? And that's how we were saved. We're trapped in the car. And the police came. I had to leave everything. Even my bag was left in that car. And the car was damaged, and we were taken home by the police. But just the fact that I was at the stadium, and this thing of saying, the people assuming that when you are at a football game, you can influence the referee. And as I say, I was looking at the watch and say, what's going on? Why, you'll have 5 minutes, 10, but more than 10 minutes, it's not something that you expect in a football game, So those are the things. I mean, you travel, you leave your children. I mean, I've got a boy and 2 girls. Those girls grew up without seeing, because every game that played of Rea Stars, I was with the team, So every time you have to have something to be able to, you have to take money from your pocket and be able to feed the players, make sure that they sleep well, accommodated well, the transport, it's a transport that they will feel comfortable so that they can go and play when they get there. So the challenges of funding, it's critical in football.
And how did you start Rea Stars?
5 boys came to my home. I was staying then in Lebohome. These boys were playing for Naughty Boys. In Joburg, the biggest team, it's Chiefs and Pirates then.
And what year is this?
1989.
89, okay.
Yes. In Polokwane, the biggest team was Stonebreakers and Naughty Boys. So the boys that were playing in Naughty Boys, there were many and talented players, most of them. So 5 of them came to my house and said, Mama, we are too many Naughty Boys. There was a competition called Toyota Under 21. And they said, can you register us in that competition? I said, but it's a competition. If you are knocked out in the first game, what happens? Then I decided, I said, no, let me speak to the president of Limpopo, passed on to Ruben Mukhashwa. Let me talk to him. And what do we call this team, by the way? Then there were names, Rea United, Rea Ledwaba, Rea Stars, Rea that. And finally they said, Mama Rena Gerwatseva the Stars Zako Naughty Boys. So let's call it Rea Stars if And I'm telling you, Sbu, first year, registered them, I paid 450 to register them. There were 2 leagues in the South African Football Association. The one was the Smirnoff League, the first one. Second was Impala. But when I gave the president the names of the players that I'm bringing into the team, he simply said, no, let's register them in the Impala League. We didn't start at the bottom. We started with Impala League, which was the biggest league here, South African Football Association. So that year, they won all the games and they got promoted to the Premier League, 3rd division. That's how it started.
And this is national?
Yes, I'm talking national. I played in the under-19 Caltex competition and went to the final with Hellenic. I played 3 years in succession, Toyota under-21. The 3rd year, I went to the final with 2 for Joy, where Steve Lekulea was playing. Champions League, Little League. I went to the semi-final representing Limpopo.